I'm Bobby Durand with the Brenda Burke Group over at Coldwell Banker Snide Miller Realty, based out of Coeur d'Alene. I've got a real treat for you today. This house is just an absolute piece of history. So come on in and we'll take a look around. So we are at 355 West Spokane Avenue in Reardon, Washington. This home was originally built in 1890, has had many changes over the years, but its most recent renovation was back in 2013, and that did it the best favor that it possibly could have. It restored it to more of the original feel of the home, giving it a real turn-of-the-century feel that you'll see as we go in. So as you can see, it's an absolute piece of Americana here. Moving into the home, we'll start off in the parlor here. This parlor is, it may be hard to tell in the video, but it's an extremely large room. We're referring to it as a parlor and not a living room because when this home was originally built, parlors were used for wakes, and they were eventually remarketed back in about the 60s to be called living rooms, just kind of as a jab in the face, and that's where that term comes from today. But this is the original style parlor, so you can see beautiful ceilings here with all the beams and woodwork. Gas stove here. And the floors are really cool too. You can see this, this cool pattern throughout. Now, one thing that's particularly cool about this house in particular is it has a lot of hidden pathways and rooms through the house. It's almost like a Scooby-Doo kind of home. So this is the first of those. There is a hidden switch here that opens this up into the first of the offices throughout the home. Now they also have the same kind of styles. You can see the trim work here, the wood ceiling. There is also a little closet off to the side here. And then heading back out. Now, I mentioned that this was the parlor where they would perform wakes back in the day. You'll notice that this door over here is a little smaller than usual. This is what's called a coffin door. Now, they're called that because this is where traditionally the undertaker would come through to maintain the situation and make sure that everything's copacetic. We'll cross over here. Now, this is a library, study, smoker room, whatever you want it to be. Obviously, it's set up right now as a library. There is an office just off to the side here. Similar styles to the last office that we just saw, but this one obviously is a little brighter than the other one. Now, I mentioned that there were lots of hidden paths and secret doorways throughout the home. There's a few more in this room alone. So you can obviously see this room from the outside if you're really paying attention to the layout of the home, but you'd never know it was here if you didn't know to look for it from the inside. Great original style wallpaper throughout here. People that aren't that crazy about wallpaper these days, but it definitely fits with the period that the home was originally built in. In keeping with the style, you'll notice that this is the traditional sliding ladder that is in very old style libraries. Now, I mentioned that this house has a lot of history. This room, hidden right here again. At one point, this home was owned by the sheriff of the town, and he would store rifles and firearms in this room. So it is mostly blackened from the outside, that you might just think that that stained glass window is decorative, but it is actually functional as it doesn't allow you to see what's in here. Okay, moving on. We're back in the entryway now and moving toward the dining room. Very traditional style chandelier, not gaudy by any means. It definitely fits with the style. This was one of the larger homes in Reardon because it was originally owned by the butcher who was very well-to-do. But because of that, it has a very large kitchen. Now I'm sure when the house was original, the kitchen was much smaller than this, but it has been upsized throughout the years so that it is much more in keeping with today's needs. You can see the very cool texture on the ceiling. Very turn-of-the-century style. Okay, and continuing on. So this is a little bit of a family room. As you can see, there's two large rooms that you could be considered a living room by today's standards. But this is at the time where people would have spent most of their time. In this room here. Now there are some very cool pieces here. There's obviously a lot of furniture in the home that is very in keeping with the style. That does not come with the home but is negotiable for the right offer. Over here we have a full bath. Shower tub combo. Very cool sink and countertop there. Okay, and continuing on. Now these double doors here do open up to a patio area, but we will see that area as we continue the tour outside the home. We'll head upstairs first. Now this room here does connect to the parlor in the main room. So it's sort of a powder room, but it does have a shower in here. Shower right here, as well as some under the stairs storage. Okay. Moving upstairs. Now, you'll notice that this railing is pretty short by today's standards. It's because around the turn of the century, people were just shorter. So they didn't really have higher railings like we do today. Now, we've got a lot of rooms in the upper level here. The first of which is another little office space. They obviously use it as a drafting room, but could be used for whatever you might need. Around the corner, we have the first of the bedrooms throughout the home. It's a little smaller by today's standards, but it is quite long actually. And you'll notice that there's lots of natural light throughout the home due to these inset windows. So continuing on, we've got the master bedroom here. Now what cool windows throughout here. Interesting note is that the glass is actually the original glass from when the home was first built. So if you look real close, you'll notice that there's a bit of wavy style to it. There has been some weather stripping put in to help with insulation and whatnot. Then we'll continue into the master bath through here. Now you do have a little linen closet here, but they're using it as a medicine cabinet. But I promise you there's a much bigger closet. So you can see clawfoot tub here, nice and open, has a great spacious feel to it. Double sinks, double vanities. And then pretty large walk-in closet. Okay, continuing on. So, we'll move into the hallway. This is where we first came in, up the stairs. Now, again, in keeping with the this house has things you wouldn't expect kind of feel, you'll notice that these inset drawers are extremely deep. You could have a lot stored in here. Maybe some small children could hide in there. So, we have this little study area, maybe do some quilting here, any kind of craft space that you may need. Again, lots of natural light. There is a bathroom right here to the left. Again, with a clawfoot tub. And then a large bedroom. Very, very cool style to this room. Has a nice warm feel to it. Now, obviously, back in the turn of the century, things weren't laid out like they usually were. So at this end, we have another bedroom just off to the side to this. Not typical by today's standards, but back in the old days, there was pretty much any layout that you can imagine. Now, over here we have a little playroom, stocked with vintage toys. Okay, and then out here, we have a nice little veranda. Plenty of railings so those kids won't be falling off the edges unless they're really trying. Okay, moving back into the home. Okay. Now there are some other spaces that we have yet to show you. Okay, so we're back in the hallway with the top of the stairs. You can see this very cool landing here. So we're back in the kitchen at this point. We have this little side pantry room here. People are always saying that they want a house with a pantry these days, and you can't always find it, but this house has it in very, very opulent style. Or opulent, excuse me. Moving downstairs. Okay, so this is just a little space for, probably your storage needs, but the current owner is using it as sort of a wine cellar. You can see these steps at the bottom of this little wine rack here. That's because that's where the original access to the upper level from the kitchen was, but has since been redirected. Sump pump down here, so you don't have to worry about water getting in the basement or anything, but as you can see, there's no obvious water lines or anything here, so it's not really been an issue for quite some time, if ever. Now we will continue outside, show you a little bit about the grounds. Just off the dining room is this great sunroom / mudroom. You can see the laundry room off to the side over here. And it is complete with a utility sink. Opposite side of the sunroom, we have a little coat room. Plenty of hangers, shelves for shoes or gloves or hats, whatever you may need. Okay. Now, in the back here is a little casita, or little guest house. Now, this little room here, not really worth taking a look at too much, but it is plumbed as a bathroom. That was not taken care of because they didn't really use it, the current owners. But it is plumbed. It would be easy to convert into a bathroom. Now, they found some really cool appliances that match with the era. Bedroom here. Little closet here, but it's pretty small. Wouldn't really show up on film. Now, back out into the driveway. So, if you look real close at this garage here, you'll notice that those are actually stable doors. They were originally meant for horses. But if you come into this first room here, you'll see that they're large enough to fit a modern car, no problem. A large truck obviously wouldn't fit in here, but an SUV or a sedan would fit in here, no problem. Storage space above the area in the loft. Off to the side here, a little garden shed / workshop. Moving out again. Now, you'll notice that these doors here are blocked off on the lower edges. They do still open, but there's a good reason for that. It's because they did a pretty neat idea for a conversion. Great little holiday or entertaining kitchen. Now, you'll notice this little sink here that is utilitarian, meaning that it basically hooks up to a hose and then drains out the side of the house. So it's not an official plumbed sink, but for functionality's sake, it's perfect. And can't you imagine entertaining some family members here on the middle of a cold winter? Just be a great feel. And right now, you can't see it in the video, obviously, but there is a wood-burning stove in here, and it's got this great warm feeling. Smells lovely in here. Now, we will take a walk around the house to show you what the yard is like. Okay. So, if we take a step back here, you'll notice that this large driveway could fit several cars in here. So if you're thinking of using this place as a getaway, possibly to entertain, maybe a bed and breakfast, it'd be perfect for that. in keeping with the same theme, there's actually more space over here that could be used for parking as well. They're using it as a little seating area at the moment. Fitting back into the front yard here. So if we take a step over here, and then we turn around to face this direction, you'll notice just how large this yard is. It is a corner lot, very spacious. I can see a lot of yard games played here. One nice little added feature is that on this end of the yard, right across the street, is a park. Very, very good neighborhood here. Continuing this way, around the side. So, this is that patio area that I talked about before, where the French doors were. Now, obviously with the time of year this is, it's right before Halloween right now. You can't really tell, but in the spring and summer months, these are actually grapevines up behind us here. So this area gets filled in, and you can't really tell that people are hanging out here on the patio unless you're really paying attention. And as I said, when we're shooting this video, it's almost Halloween time right now. Because Reardon is such a small, quiet town, a lot of families from Spokane bring their kids over to do their trick-or-treating throughout this town. And last year they said that they had 210 kids come and trick-or-treat at their house. So perfect feel for the season. Heading on back. See, there's a little garden area here. Nothing major, just for hobby gardening, excuse me. And continuing back around into the driveway. So thank you once again. My name was Bobby Durand with the Brenda Burke Group over at Coldwell Banker Snide Miller Realty. Thanks for hanging on to the end of the video, and hopefully you can come and take a walk through yourself sometime. Have a great day.